Hello again, everybody. This is Rocket Rick J18, and today I am going to talk to you about my second uh, Strongsville SGC submission. That is to say, I submitted this at the Strongsville show, and it is just now today coming back. So that's was on the 20th of April, and today is the 16th of May, so just under a month. Supposed to be between 5 and 10 business days, and this is more like 20. So already the takeover by PSA has had some impact, apparently. So I guess we have more to look forward to on that score. So okay, well let's today I've actually waited long enough to get into this that I'm doing it on camera. This is a first for me because waiting is not my strong suit. Okay, so that's. Yeah, that's okay. That's good. All right, there we go. And remove this top layer, and then we will remove the nice box that it comes in. It's just a bit too wide for my hands. Okay, so that's good. We got the box out. Put that back in there. Got the box all fitted. Okay. And we'll break the seal. Open the lid. Pull this out. Well, there's two of them. This is going to be interesting here. Try to get this out in one piece. All right. Now, there were two cards in this submission that the SGC would not grade. And I've forgotten which ones they are. And they didn't say on the oh, okay, yeah, well, here's what they are. I'd forgotten about these. These are the APBA baseball game. And one is the original stats, and I think this is I don't know. This is one of these is they're both for Mickey Mantle. One of them shows him as 5'11" and 175. That's the original one. And the second one, which I think came out in 1968, lists him at 5'10" and 185. So he gained 10 pounds and shrunk an inch. Well, okay, so here we are, and here's the invoice, where they put all the grades on it, so you can kind of see that. And we'll just go through these cards one at a time. The first one is a 1967 Venezuela Retirado Lloyd Waner, number 167. And so and of course, Retirado, as Orlando informed me, is Spanish for retired. So kind of intuitive there. And they got a 1.5. These cards don't grade high because they are often, as this one is, with a little bit of paper loss right here and right here, and then a little bit up in this corner right here, so that you can see that. Also, the back is is written in Spanish. Which I don't really understand much Spanish, so it's not decipherable by me. The next card is a 1950 Drake's Cookies, the TV baseball series, and that is Tommy Henrich. And the back is got some, his physical characteristics and some of his demographic information. And then it has this is interesting. Here it says that in 1949, Tommy Henrich was injured and broke several vertebrae in his back. One, not several, but he broke one. I think it was in a fielding play, and he was expected to be out for the remainder of the season, but he astonished everyone by coming back into action within a month. So, today, they're much more careful. I don't think they would have let him come back. I think there's, they have so much money tied up in a lot of players that, they want to be sure they're not going to come back too early and hurt themselves even further. You may recall the story about Dizzy Dean getting a line drive hit back in the All-Star game. It's somewhere around 1937 or so, something like that. And he fractured his big toe. And when he came back too early, because of the toe injury, he changed his motion, had to change his motion a little bit, and it, caused him to get a sore arm, which he never really recovered from. So it's a serious business, and we can certainly understand that players may want to come back early, but they're probably not really given the opportunity to do that. So this is from the Drake's Cookies. Now the rest of these cards are more standard or typical cards from the vintage era, and a lot of these cards are Mickey Mantle cards. So let's take a look at those. Here's a 1964 Topps Mickey Mantle in a SG 2.5. Some people say this was Mickey's last good season, 1964 was. So the stats from 64 not on this card, obviously. So it's got a 2.5. I'm pretty happy with that. Here is a 1963 Topps Mantle, and it got a 3, and I'm very happy with that. I tried to glare off of these, keep the glare off of them. There's a cartoon on the back of this one, so it's not all dry and so forth. And it says that as of the end of the 1963 season, he ranked 7th among all-time home run hitters and has won 3 AL MVP awards. And then in the cartoon it says that Mickey has hit 14 World Series homers. Well, he hit another one in 1963, which is the end of this year. The Yankees won the pennant and were swept by the Dodgers. And then in 1964, he hit 3 more home runs to eclipse Babe Ruth's World Series record of 15. And so Mickey still holds the record for World Series home runs. Now, Reggie Jackson has, I think, 19 playoff home runs, but not all of those were in the World Series. Although he did famously hit 3 in a row, and I mean on 3 consecutive pitches. Hit the first pitch at least twice, maybe 3, I think 3 times, really, to be honest with you. Okay, the next card to show you is the 1961 Mickey Mantle All-Star, which also got a grade of 3, which is very good. It's got a little corner wear, but and it's not, centering's not perfect, and there's a little bit of a stain up here. So it's certainly not a 7 or an 8. Now here's one that looks pretty sharp, and it got a correspondingly much better grade, a 4.5 for the 1961 MVP card. And this one is even better. This is a 1961 Baseball Thrills Mantle Blasts 565-foot home run, and it got a SGC 5. And on the back it has kind of like a little newspaper article that it's supposed to emulate. And on the front it just shows the dotted line of, this is in Griffith Stadium in Washington, D.C. It was abandoned by the old Washington Senators when they moved to Minnesota for the 1961 season, and it was taken over by the new Washington Senators in 1961 for a while until they built a new stadium. I think they played in RFK Stadium. I'm not 100% sure of that. Okay. Here's a couple more 1961 Topps cards. The first one is from the 1960 World Series. Mantle slams 2 homers in Game 2 of the World Series. As you know, the Yankees won all 3 of their games, the games that they won, in blowouts. I think more than 10 runs separated them from the Pirates in those 3 games. But they lost 4 games, a couple of them by 1 run and a couple of them by 2 runs, I think, including Game 7, Bill Mazeroski's home run. Yeah. The next one I have is a 1961, and this is the base card, and it only got a 1, and that's what it deserved, I think. It's got some irregular edges, corner wear. It's got the gloss really gone from the surface of the card, and some scuffing on the surface. No no big creases, although right there on his neck he doesn't have a scar there. That's on the surface of the card, kind of scuff mark, I think. So those are all 1961 cards. I think there's a total of 5 of them. Excuse me. This was one of my favorite cards growing up. The Manager's Dream card from the 1962 top set. And this came back in an SGC 4, showing, really 2 of the greatest players from this era, Willie Mays and Mickey Mantle. And the next card is a 1961 Post Serial. This is hand cut off the box. You could send in and get what are now known as company cards. They would mail back to you a sheet. Those have perforations on them, so if you can distinguish them from the ones cut from a box. And of course, they're blank backs, nothing on the back. 61 Post Serial. The next card I have to show you is a 1960 Topps All-Star card. That's on a high number 563, and this came back in an SGC 2. And the back's, not really colorful, but a lot more action on the back than on the front. And the next 2 cards are the 1958 All-Star card, also not a high number, number 487. This one came back at 2.5, and the back has stats on it. And this is Mickey's record versus the American League in 1957. And he had, back then they played, I'm going to say 22 games. I think if you multiply 22 times 7, you get 154. And that's how the schedule was made up. So they played, the Senators 22 times, the Athletics 22 times. Mickey didn't play in all those games. He played 144 games. So he sat out 10 of them, either to rest or because of injuries. That's pretty well centered, this one. Here's another one in slightly worse condition, and it got an SGC 2, and you can see it's not very well centered, and it isn't very well centered on the back either. So that probably accounts for the difference right there, because the corners look decent. They look about the same as this one. You can yourself. I'll hold them both up, and let's see if you can get the glare off of them and get them both in the picture. You can see how much more the 2 is from the 2.5 in terms of centering, but the rest of the card doesn't look bad. And the back, same thing. So that's what I have for you today, and that is my second of the two Strongsville submissions. So this is overall my fifth submission. I don't have any more out there, and probably won't have before the national. I don't expect to send in any other cards for grading, um, unless I would, pick up something that I thought really needed to be graded. But anyway, I may have a few cards go to the national with me to be graded, submitted at the national. So that's what I have for you today, and as always, I'll close with the Socket Rick J18, wishing that all your collecting dreams come true. Have a good day.